How's everybody doing today?
Excellent.
All right, my name is Sal Carano, and welcome to the Single Life Cooking with Sal. What we have here today is a crab and chorizo stuffed mushroom. It's a great recipe to me because it's very versatile. You have a well-balanced sweetness of the crab meat, as well as the smoky spiciness of the chorizo, all in a mushroom. Now, what I did is I actually I hollowed out the mushrooms to make like a pocket-like presence in the mushroom so you can stuff it with the stuffing. Now, I'm going to demonstrate that for you today. And you could, what you could do is you can grab yourself a spoon, peel back, and hollow out the mushroom with the spoon, as shown there. Now, what I also like to do is I like to peel back the outside layers of the mushroom, just like so. What it leaves, it actually leaves a nice well-balanced cooking throughout the whole mushroom, because what it is, 99% of a mushroom is water. So you don't want all that moisture to hold in. So what you do, you peel it back. It looks actually a little bit nicer than like the brown spots on the mushroom there. And peel it back just like so. And also, what you also want to do is you always want to have yourself a garbage bowl. Pop it in the garbage bowl there so you can leave yourself a nice mise en place, a nice clean setup there on your cutting board. I have a couple more mushrooms I'm going to demo for you. You can just hollow out the little stem right there. Clean it up a little bit. Put that in your garbage bowl. Peel it back. Peel it back. Peel it back. I'm going to say peel it back one more time. Okay, so once you have that, you have all your setup for the mushroom right there. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up the vegetables. We're going to use red peppers in our recipe. You can use green peppers, you can use Italian stuffing peppers, you can use any vegetable you want in a stuffing, because that's exactly what a stuffing is. Everything you like in one big ball. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the peppers in strips, actually just like Stacy did prior to me. You're going to cut it in strips, almost like a julienne. Just like so. Make sure you're very careful with the knife, and make sure you always have a sharp knife as well. Then you're going to turn that over, and we're going to do a small dice. And you want a small dice because in a stuffing mixture, you don't want any one thing to pop out. You want everything to blend together. So we're going to do that. Just like so. Make sure it's all nice and neat. And what I have here directly to my right is your whole setup, your whole assembly line for setup. So I have my mixing bowl, and I also have my greased up sheet tray that I greased up prior to, that'll be your final setup before you put it in the oven. Next in our recipe, we're going to do a half an onion, and we're going to do the typical way to dice an onion. You're going to go vertically across the onion, just like that. Make sure your safety as well, with a sharp knife and with your fingers curled in. Go across, and you're going to go with the contour of the onion, so it's nice and even. Then what you're going to do as well is you're going to cut across the onion about 3 times, I'd say, to get a nice even dice with the peppers that we just cut. You're going to go down like that. Get a nice even dice. And if you think you have too much once you cut it, because it actually looks a lot bigger when you do cut it, what you do is just put that in the bowl and put the onion back to the side. Now, the name of the show is Single Life Cooking with Sal. Now, why would you say that? Because I feel that a lot of people who are single these days, living on their own, don't really know how to cook for themselves, or they don't really have to save money, or, maybe sometimes even if you have a date. Now, the best thing about this recipe is that you can cut everything down to the minimal amount for yourself. 2 mushrooms, 3 mushrooms. You can do a quarter of a pepper. You can do half the amount of chorizo. Or actually, just double everything up. Whether you have a date over, you can triple everything up, 10 times it up, if you actually have a party for yourself. So I think that saving money is a big thing when you're single. So that's what you want to do. Okay, so I'm just finishing up the peppers here. Next, what we have, I'm going to demonstrate. Now, being that the chorizo is cooked, Usually, normally, if you do have a meat, the chorizo is cooked, so you want to sanitize your cutting board. Excuse me. But being that the chorizo is cooked, you're fine. And being that it's going to be cooked to an internal temperature of 165 degrees, you're fine as well. Any stuffing-like texture, you'd be like, oh, okay, there's sausage in there. Well, sausage is 145 degrees. Crab meat could also be 145 degrees, but when you have a stuffing-like texture with anything involved, you want to cook it to 165 degrees. So I'm going to demonstrate the chorizo. Now it curls a little bit, so it's a little difficult. So what you want to do is you want to place a sturdy edge, and you want to just cut it into strips, just like so. And as you see here, through the magic of television, I already have a bunch chopped up right there. So you can put that to the side, and I'm just going to show you what it is. When you cut it into strips, and you want to do the same exact texture and the same exact size as your peppers and mushrooms. Excuse me, as your peppers and onions. That brings up actually a good point. As you see here in the garbage bowl, we have the stems, we have the outsides of the mushrooms, and what you could do, you could actually cut that up as well and put it in the stuffing. It gives it more volume. Also in the stuffing, it has a little bit of the mushroom inside itself. Okay, so I'm going to add everything to that hole right there. Now I have 1 cup of mayonnaise, which is good for a bonder. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a good bind on the stuffing. And what you could also use mustard. You could also use olive oil if you'd like. If you want to go a little healthier, maybe some light sour cream. It all actually cooks up well and binds up well when you're combining all the ingredients. So you add that. Now I'm also using about a cup and a half of panko breadcrumbs. I don't like to use regular breadcrumbs. Panko gives it a nice crisp bite to it. So you add that to the mixture. What we have here also, I do add a little bit of olive oil as well. Maybe about a tablespoon or so. A little bit of olive oil to bind that up. I have about a tablespoon of Italian mix. I put a little bit of fresh parsley in there because I had some left over. Add that in there. I have about a half a cup of grated Parmesan. It adds a nice saltiness and complements the crab and the chorizo very well. Now, here is the key ingredient, I believe, when you're using crab meat or even the smokiness of the chorizo, is Old Bay seasoning. It has a lot of different spices in it. It has some paprika, it has some celery salt in it. It's a very, very good complement to the crab. Actually, when you do like a crab boil with whole crab, people just add this to their water, add this to their stock. It tastes very, very good. Okay. I also add about half a juice of lemon. You want to make sure. I took out most of the seeds, but sometimes you have a little bit there. What you can do is you just put it over your pan. Make sure you catch any of the seeds that are coming out. Just like so. Put that on that dish right there. Also a little bit more lemon. Now anybody knows that lemon is perfect with any sort of seafood. So that's exactly why I'm adding this to the recipe. Now I also like to add a little bit of garlic. If you don't like garlic, you don't have to, but there's enough seasoning inside. But I just like to add a little bit of the garlic to get that aroma out once you bite into it. Probably about a tablespoon of garlic would do just fine. Okay. Now we have the leftover of our red bell pepper that I chopped up. Okay, now the key ingredient here is lump crab meat. Let me just clean up my mise en place right here before I explain to you the lovely key ingredient that they call lump crab. Thankfully I was able to get lump crab meat today, but if you cannot afford lump crab meat, because it does run yourself in a store at a Wegmans or at a BJ's, it could run up to $16.99 or $22.99 a pound. But thankfully, if you get it at a Restaurant Depot, if you get it through a food purveyor, it's actually $12.99. Okay, so we have all of our ingredients except the lump crab. You can use a lot of different things. They have a crab special, which is kind of like a mixture of everything. They also have crab claw, which is actually one of the cheaper ends. But thankfully, lump crab meat is the best way to go. So you add about a cup and a half worth of that. Now with our stirring spoon here, we're going to combine all the ingredients and we're going to mix it up. And hopefully it makes a nice stuffing texture. If you do have to add a little bit more mayonnaise, if you do have to add a little bit more olive oil, that's no problem at all. It's just one big bowl of everything that you're trying to get to the nice consistency to stuff that mushroom. Great, thank you. Okay, it's still a little dry. I might have added a little bit too much panko breadcrumbs, but that's all right. So I got a little bit more olive oil here, and I can combine everything together. You can also scrape a little bit left over the mayonnaise that we have, and everything should be fine from there on out. Boom-tastic! All right. And you're combining, I don't know if everybody can see, right there. It's becoming a nice texture. You can still get a little bit more. You can combine it all together. You can get dirty and use your hands if you want to. Who doesn't like to get dirty with food? Okay. Combine that all together. Oh, this is going to be good. Can you guys smell it? You can just smell. It smells absolutely amazing. Okay, now, what I also have, what you would like to do is you would like to clean all your utensils, you would like to set up your mise en place. And what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to get a little dirty today. Single life cooking with Sal, come on. All right? And we're going to actually add the stuffing mixture to the mushroom, just like so. Okay? Place that on the greased pan. You don't want it too tight because you want everything to cook thoroughly. And when it's too tight, the presentation is just too uniform. You like to have a nice rustic look, I would say. So we're going to combine all of these. And basically, once that is all done, you're going to bake it at 375 for approximately 20 to 25 minutes. To a minimum temperature of 165 degrees. I'm going to take off my gloves. And of course you would wash your hands, but thankfully I'm not touching anything raw anymore. And through the magic of television, here's your finished product. Now, you say, that doesn't look too pretty. So what I do, I believe Professor McInerney gave me a name for it, but I don't remember, so I'm going to call it a chimichurri sauce. It's not quite a chimichurri sauce. It adds a good pop to everything that's involved. What I did was a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of parsley, chopped up parsley, and some salt and some pepper, and some Parmesan cheese. And what you do is, excuse me while I rinse this spoon off. Usually what you would have is a wash, rinse, and sanitize sink. But being for the purposes of a demo and time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drizzle the chimichurri sauce over the mushroom. The lemon and the olive oil really make it pop, as well as the parsley. Drizzle that over. Drizzle that over. And boom-tastic! There is your chorizo, crab, stuffed mushroom. And my name is Sal Carano. And single people of the world, please get rid of those TV dinners and step into Sal's kitchen. Thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions for Sal before we get him off the stage, if we can?
Yes.
What do you usually serve that with? Or is it an appetizer on its own?
And it could be actually, it's very versatile. It could be an appetizer. It actually could be an